What is up, everybody? How is everyone doing out there today? Welcome back to Wildcat MTG, and here we are. It is the end of June. A little set called Final Fantasy came out this month. We opened just a little bit of that, and by a little bit of that, I mean we opened a whole lot of it. But as we wrapped up the month, I was like, man, Final Fantasy brought us all these cool new cards. There's a lot of new commander possibilities, which means it's also a really good time for me to restock on some Crowdlands. So today we are going to crack open a box of Commander Legends Battle for Baldur's Gate. We're going to do a draft booster box today. We're going to hopefully get some Crowdlands out of it, and we are always on the lookout for dragons. Man, these boxes, as I was looking at this and kind of preparing to do the video, remember when these boxes were like $85 a piece? That is that is not the case anymore. These boxes are like $145 now. I was fortunate enough to get in on a bunch of these when they were still really, really cheap. I had a bunch of them, and my supply is dwindling. But so I guess what I'm trying to say is I didn't purchase this box at that price, but that's what these are now going for. These are now $145 a piece. So we're going to open it as if that were the price point, though. And let's, with that being said, why don't we go ahead and dive on in and let's crack some packs. So draft booster boxes, I think they have 24 packs. They did like an unconscionable, I think 18 packs for the set booster boxes, which are atrocious and I don't really recommend for Baldur's Gate. But I do like the draft boxes. They tend to give you a fair amount of the lands. Hopefully we see at least, gosh, I'd say 3. And if we're really lucky, maybe we'll hit a couple of sweet dragons. There are some other cool mythics in here, but primarily lands and dragons. That's what we want to see today. Okay. Plenty of other good stuff in this set as well. I'd like to think that I was dying on this, and that's a little lightning bolt, dying on this hill, one of a few dying on this hill of, hey, this is a really good set. From pretty close to the beginning. All right, Amber Grisomon, Gut is good. Scion, oh, first mythic is Blood Money. Blood Money's all right. It's not bad. It's not like a chase mythic, but 7 mana, destroy all creatures, and for each non-token creature destroyed this way, create a tap treasure. Artifacts are more and more valuable right now, so even in tapped or untapped form. So that's not terrible. That is our first mythic. Guardian Naga. Not gonna work here. Little boo token. Also, not one of the Crowdlands, but you also have Reflecting Pool in this set. So anyways, kind of going back to it, is this set had the misfortune of coming out, what was it? It was Kamigawa, Neon Dynasty, and then Streets of New Capenna, and then I think it was this, but this also came out right before Double Masters 2022, which, as many of you know, is like an all-timer for me. I think that set has continued, we're 3 years removed from it, and has continued to age very, very nicely as a set. A lot of fun to open, tons of good stuff in it. My point being is that Baldur's Gate kind of hit with a little bit of a thud. Come on, Far Traveler. Rare is Altar of Ball. Not, excuse me, not a big value target, but I actually do like the card just as a playable and a nice card, so I'm going to put that up top just as a card I like. Other good examples of cards that might have some value in here at the rare level. Would not be sad about seeing a Displacer Kitten. Displacer Kitty. Excuse me. All right. So kind of hit with a little bit of a thud. But, man, this set has continued to age gracefully. Really, really good set. Some strong mythics in it. A lot of good rares, good land cycle. Plenty of playable commons and uncommons as well. Like if you're just looking to do some collection building, it's really not the worst. Master Chef. 9 Fingers Keen as a rare. Second rare is Traverse the Outlands, which is also not a bad rare. I don't think it's quite that $3 mark, but still not a bad rare. We should see around 4 to 5 mythics, I believe, if memory serves. It's actually been a minute since I've opened one of these draft boxes. All right, Pilgrim's Eye, Bag of Holding, Inspired Tinkering, Crystal, Skanos, Hardy Outlander, and the second mythic, Battle Angels of Tyr. That is not a bad mythic at all. Battle Angels of Tyr is still a very, very good card. 4 for 4/4 flying and myriad, and whenever Battle Angels of Tyr deals combat damage to a player, draw a card. If that player has more cards in hands than each other player, then you create a treasure token. If that player controls more lands than each other player, then you gain 3 life. If that player has more life than each other player, and it has myriad, so you're hitting all the opponents. So I think I want to say Battle Angels is maybe like $17. That is solid. The hope is to get a dragon, but you're not upset with Battle Angels. In fact, I think Battle Angels is probably still more valuable than the Gold Dragon and the Bronze Dragon in their base copies. Not than the Brass, Silver, and of course not than the Copper, which is still the big chase, right? I think Copper Dragons, even though they have like a soft reprint in Final Fantasy on the Through the Ages sheet, I think the base copies of those are still like $75. It's been a long time since I pulled one. Rare is Gale's Redirection, also not a bad little spell. I know a lot of people aren't like dice rolling fans when it comes to their Magic the Gathering, and I get that, but I actually do like the D20, a lot of the D20 spells. I think it's neat. It's just a little something, little extra variance, which I know is not something that Magic players typically crave. Like the whole point is to like build decks that have consistency and cut down on the variance. But I think it's neat when there's like you're happy with 75% of the effect, and maybe another 25% of the time you can get something else out of it. All right, Beckoning Will of the Wisp, Contingency, Thrakkus. Thrakkus is a very good commander. Flaming Fist. Rare is Merkel, Lord of Bones, followed by Elder Brain, and uncommon Bange's Contingency. I think this set also has Nature's Lore at common. I think, cannot remember, it seems correct. And the other uncommon that is also creeping its way back up is Irenic. This is Vile Duplication. I think that as an uncommon is back up to like $7, which is, that's a lot for an uncommon. All right, Pseudo Dragon Familiar, Hezru, Explore the Underdark, Ambition's Cost. Kadira. I have Kadira in a deck. Vol Candlekeep, Tavern Brawler. Rare. Hey, there we go. There's our first of the lands. Sweet. What is Promenade at? Morphic Pool, I think, is still the most valuable one, but Promenade's, I probably should have looked at this a little more, but like $10. I was so like, I just need lands. I need all the lands. That I didn't really look too hard, but it seems like that's probably correct. Like I want to say Morphic Pool is probably 16, 15, 16, something like that. Promenade's probably like 8-ish. And that Sea of Clouds, Promenade and Sea of Clouds probably like in the same range. But I am not shying away from any of the crowd lands. Colossal Badger. This is our last pack of the first column of the box. Hey, Arcane Signet, sweet. Solid uncommon. I want to say like basically kind of like Sol Ring, like can never have too many copies. Luzon, Corlessa, Guild Artisan, and rare is Caves of Chaos Adventure. Oh, and a foil mythic, sweet. It is Font of Magic. Font of Magic is not like a huge value target, so it's not going to be like a huge hit, but it is a foil mythic, which I'm not thumbing my nose at, and I think it's still a good card, maybe even a little underplayed. 4-mana enchantment, so you're like, 4-mana like doesn't really like affect the game state, but instant and sorcery spells you cost 1 less for each time you've cast a commander from the command zone this game. That is, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think you like want a cheap commander in that regard, but 1 is fine. And then I think if you have cast your commander 2 or more times, you are really, really in the money on that card. Some really good gates in this deck, or in this set. Emerald Dragon. I like the Adventure Dragons. A lot of good uncommons there. Imoen Mystic Trickster. Scion of Halaster. Next rare is Mirror of Life Trapping. And foil common is Meet in a Tavern. So we did get a, I think like a foil mythic is kind of like a bonus mythic. Sweet. Sea Hag. Okay. Faceless one. Swashbuckler Extraordinaire. Feywild Caretaker. Master Chef. Rare is John Irenicus Shattered One. We would like his duplication. Hey, there we go. Second Crowdland, though. Sweet. Sea of Clouds. Get out of here. Is that a second foil mythic? And is it what I think it is? Boom! That is Ancient Brass Dragon. Okay. That is uncommon amongst draft boxes, getting a foil mythic, let alone 2 foil mythics. So Ancient Brass. That is cool. Brass got to be 23. That is a sharp mythic to pull. And I want to say Ancient Brass is like in the neighborhood of like 23, plus a Sea of Clouds, which is probably in like the $7-ish, $8 range. Go you Baldur's Gate. 4 mythics, 2 foil mythics. One of them is an Elder Dragon. And we're at 2 Crowdlands already. That's what I'm talking about. Okay, moving right along. Arcane Encyclopedia. Treasure Keeper, Skullport Merchant. Criminal Past. Rare is Wind Shaper Planetar. And that will do it there. Just about the halfway point in the box. Obviously, we're feeling good about things. An Ancient Brass, a foil Ancient Brass Dragon, a Battle Angel of Tears, and a couple of Crowdlands. Plus a couple other really, like, even if they're not value per se. Hey, there we go, Nature's Lore. That's probably still a $2 to $3 common. Certainly some good playables. Command Tower, of course, great. Okay, Campfire, Safana. Rare is Cultist of the Absolute. So it's a rare, it's one of the backgrounds. Backgrounds were pretty cool. I actually don't see people play backgrounds too often. White Plume Adventure. White Plume Adventure used to be money. And I don't think it is anymore. I always mix this up in one other card. I think it was White Plume Adventure that was... yeah, you take the initiative. It was Crushing Legacy for a while. Used to be a valuable card. Of all the cards to look at, and you're like, yeah, White Plume Adventure catches a ban in Legacy. But the initiative's kind of busted. Kind of busted. Alright. Stunning Strike. Slaughter the Strong. Moon Shay Pixie. Ganax Astral Hunter. Dungeon Delver. Rare is Jan Jansen Chaos Crafter. And, oh, sweet, Monster Manual. Nice. I'm a fan of Monster Manual. This card was, like, super cheap, and then it got expensive-ish, like in like the 10-12 range, and now it's, like, super cheap again. I think it's maybe between $3 and $4. But, you know, I mean, we have plenty of effects that allow you to put a creature from your hand onto the battlefield. I mean, it's Elvish Piper and whatnot. But I like the fact that it's, like, part of the reason that Elvish Piper is challenging card to use is it still has Summoning Sickness. You know what doesn't have Summoning Sickness? Artifacts. Non-creature artifacts. So yes, it would be 6 mana to do all in one turn, but yeah, it's not the worst with some of the creatures out there nowadays. You're like, yeah, 6 mana is actually still a bargain to just plop an artifact on the battlefield and then instantly use its ability to just put a creature from my hand onto the battlefield. All right. That is me. Enough of me professing my love of Monster Manual. Stone Skin. Cone of Cold. Sirvok. Dragon Cultist. Another Mythic. Bramble Sovereign. All right. Prior to the reprint, I think Bramble Sovereign and the pre-reprint in this set, I don't believe it's been reprinted again since, but this was actually a fairly expensive-ish card. 4 for 4/4. Whenever a non-token creature enters the battlefield, you may pay 2. If you do, that creature's controller creates a token that's a copy of that creature. Pretty good. Still only a few bucks, but that doesn't make it let's just say it's like not a hit that I'm like, oh, Bramble Sovereign. Like, still a good card. All right, 2 packs left in this middle column. Also brings us up to 5 mythics. 2 of those being foil, which makes me feel like we're live, still live for a couple more. Deadly Dispute, still a very good common. Lots of gates in this set. All right. Ghost Lantern, Banishment, Hammers of Moradin, Renari, Candlekeep Sage. Rare is Mighty Servant of Luco, and Pegasus Guardian. Sure, last pack of the middle column. Would like to get at least one more land out of this box. Again, I think 2 to 3 is kind of the average for a draft box. It feels about right. So at this moment, I'd say we're kind of on the low end of average. Modify Memory, Noble's Purse, Sod, Agent of Iron Throne. Rare is Will, Blade of Frontiers. Again, if you're like throwing dice, Will's your guy. Astarian's Thirst, and a foil common, Stirring Bard. All right, we are in to the last third of the box now. Last column. Yeah, there we go. All right. Let's see what these last, whatever it is, 8 packs have in store for us. Yep. Okay. Recruitment Drive, Rock, Rescuer, Sailor's Bane, Allura, Acolyte of Bahamut. Rare is Horn of Valhalla, followed by foil common, or foil uncommon. Like I said, it feels like with the double foil mythic, we should be live for one more. Hopefully one more Crowdland, and then I'm feeling pretty good about this box. I mean, I feel good as it is. Nature's Lore again, very nice. But that would make me feel especially good about this. Decanter of Endless Water, I think it's still like $1. I think the showcase copy is less than the base copy, but it is not, does have a little bit of extra value there. Swiftfoot Boots, Topaz Dragon, Erlen Harbreeze. Rare is Noble Heritage as a background, followed by, hey, Wrathroar Dragon. Neat. I think Wrathful was probably over that $3 mark. Pretty good dragon. Of course, when Tarkir Dragonstorm came out, dragon popularity kind of peaked again. And Wrathful Red Dragon is certainly a very good dragon. All right. You've been caught stealing. Gone Gate, Juvenile Mist Dragon, Thunderwave, Abdel, Flaming Fist as a background. Rare is, yes, there we go, nice. Morphic Pool, very, very cool. This is our third of the Crowdlands. This, I believe, is still the most valuable of them. I want to say that Morphic Pool was in like the 15-16 range. So that feels pretty good. Man, we still got 5 packs left. Maybe even rip a 4th Crowdland. All right. Warehouse Thief, Blur, Gate Colossus. Hey, there we go. Sweet. Irenicus's Vile Duplication. Again, I think this is like a $7 uncommon. Crystal Dragon, Tavern Brawler. Rare is Baba Lysaga, Night Witch. It's John Wick. Owlbear Cub. And that'll do it there. All right, 4 packs left. Can we squeeze one more mythic out of this? Gate, Command Tower, all the things. All right. Split the Spoils, Wild Magic Surge, You Look Upon a Tarask, and pee yourself. Wilson, Inspiring Leader. There is another mythic. It's a Font of Magic. Well, all right, fine. Not the one I was necessarily looking for, but that's okay. We double font of magic box with the foil and the non-foil mystery key. Sure. Did get another mythic out of it though, so that brings us to 6 total. 2 of which are foil. One of them which is an ancient brass, so not the end of the world. I do think, like, as much as I enjoyed this product, now that these are up to like $145 for a draft box, which seemed unfathomable at one point in time when they were like, again, like $80 a box. Probably a harder sell on these now. There's a lot of good stuff in it, don't get me wrong, but when you have one mythic that is $75 by itself, I kind of get it, but I think it's tougher sledding now. Hey, Earthquake Dragon, sweet. I think, well, that is pretty off center. Earthquake Dragon, I also think, again, maybe still Dragon Hangover from Tarkir, but I do believe this is above $3 right now, so I will put it up top. 2 packs left. All right. Patriarch Seal. I think Patriarch Seal as an uncommon is still like $2 to $3 as well. Not bad. It's a 3-mana rock, but untap target legendary creature you control. So, at the very least, your commander, right? All right. Minthara. I do like Minthara. Scion of Halister, sure. There we go. Sweet. 4th Crowdland, Spire Garden. I want to say Spire Garden's, again, probably in that 8 to 10 range. Kind of hedging a little bit there, but seems correct. Cool, but a 4 Crowdland box. That is, we'll take that. 4 Crowdland, 6 Mythics. A few of the rares that you want to see, like we didn't get, the kitty. No Displacer Kitten in this box. There's a couple other, reflecting pool and a couple other value rares in there that we didn't see, but also didn't completely whiff on that either. Last pack, here we go. Any last pack magic? Pack attack. Mole. Saddle of the Cavalier. Rilsa. Master Chef. Rare is Glunch. And another mythic. All right, cool. Majestic Genesis. Not, again, one of the higher value targets as far as the mythics are concerned. But all things considered, with the double foil mythic box, and we did get, without the ancient brass as pulling like a second foil mythic, which is highly uncommon, the mythic pool looks a lot different. But when you've got at least a Battle Angels and then you got pull the foil mythic ancient brass, that feels pretty good overall. So you can kind of forgive mostly whiffing in the other mythics. So all things considered, this box is actually going to be pretty good for us, right? 5, 6, 7 mythics? 5, 7? Yeah, 7 mythics. 2 of them are foil. 4 Crowdlands. A few of the impact rares. A couple other rares I really like. And a couple other rares in here that I like that I just didn't put up there for whatever reason. Again, there is some value in the uncommons with like Irenicus's Vile Duplication and Patriarch Seal. Got a couple dollar common in there with Nature's Lore. So overall, a solid box. Not a spectacular box. That would need like a Copper Dragon. But a solid, certainly a good box and far from a tragic box. So, again, a demonstration. These boxes were too cheap forever. Now I kind of go the other way with it, where I'm like, man, like, again, $145 for a draft box it is tough sledding, but there is plenty of good stuff, and I think that you're likely to see from a draft box, likely to see 3 Crowdlands on average, probably 5 Mythics on average. So it feels pretty good, 4 to 5. Anyways, that's going to do it for me today. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, do me a favor. If you're not subscribed already, hit the subscribe button for me, hit the like button for me, and by all means, drop me some comments. Appreciate each and every one of you. Thanks so much, everybody, and be well.